Welcome to the Queer Confidence Podcast, the podcast to help you become your most confident queer self. I'm your host, he, she, they, Coach Alex Ray, and I haven't always been this confident. In fact, I used to be super insecure. And through this show, I want to share with you what's worked for me, my clients, and my guests so that you can become more confident. Hello, unicorns. How are you? I am thrilled to conclude the series today of The Big Move with you. This is part 5, the conclusion. And in this episode, I really want to just recap my very first month here in beautiful sunny San Diego. It's been just over a month since I got here now. It's June 5th when I'm recording this. And so 36 days, I guess, here. And I just kind of wanted to look back on the last month and recap with you the wild, thrilling journey it has been. And I hope that through all of this, if nothing else, that you get the one essential message that I want for you today. And that is that in order to grow, you have to let go. And sometimes that might mean blowing the fuck apart of your life. That doesn't make any sense. Let's say that again. Blowing your life the fuck up. That's what I mean. Sometimes it requires some massive, scary discomfort on purpose. And so I'm excited to share with you all the stuff that's been happening in my life, behind the scenes, personally and professionally. And just kind of recapping the wild journey it has been, because I really see in hindsight how this has been the situation I needed to put myself in, the life experience I needed to have in order to evolve and grow. And I have let go of a lot of things, and I've also found a lot of new things this month. It's been terrifying at many times. I've felt really lonely. And I have felt very stressed. I've felt very confused and lost. And towards the end of the month is when I really started feeling powerful again. And what was really helpful for me to get to that place was just a shift in perspective, which my coach helped me do so well. Just realizing that, like, okay, look at everything that's going on. No wonder I feel the stress and the loneliness and the fear. That's normal, right? Love ourselves exactly where we're at. And then, how are we narrating this story? Are we narrating it like it's some kind of disaster, or are we narrating it as if we are an amazing superhero, like we are? And so I want to pose that question to you now too, no matter what you're going through, whether it's just sort of obnoxious or crazy, wildly difficult. Are you narrating it in a way in which you are hopeless and helpless, or are you narrating your story in a way in which you are the hero? I hope you choose to shift that to being the hero. So let's dive in. And I just want to kind of celebrate all these things, because what the fuck? I sat down and listed everything, and I had to come back a few times to list to add things. I've been compiling it over the last week or two to make sure I didn't miss anything. And don't worry, I'm not going to give you a monologue on it forever. Well, I mean, this podcast is a monologue, but I'm not going to give you a boring recap forever. But there's quite a list of what has happened in my life over the last month, and it's wild. And I know for sure, without a doubt now, that this is the journey that I needed to have. And my main purpose in coming out here to San Diego was to grow. And I wanted to just evolve personally and professionally. And I had really realized that I was stagnating back in Annapolis. And I have quite successfully achieved the shakeup that I was hoping for. maybe a little better than I was actually hoping for. It would have been a little more startling than I had anticipated. Actually, it definitely was. But let's go recap the crazy month. And I'm going to even rewind a little bit to before May. And we're going to, like, in April, I don't know if y'all remember, but Gideon's tail, the tip of it got crushed in the door going into Starbucks. So we had to get his tail amputated, which was scary and emotional. And, it was just startling. I mean, he's like my kid, having your kid go in for surgery never, I don't know. It just does not feel good. Does not feel calm and peace and light and love. It was scary. But he's more than fine now. And then that, of course, healed right in time for the road trip. And then, what the heck? We start off the road trip, as y'all heard throughout the series, that you heard. I'm lost here. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The trailer, right? My plan for the road trip didn't even work out. We had to go with an entire moving truck, and which then resulted in like $2,000 more in expenses than I had planned for, because we also had all the gas and everything. And that experience also really showed me how important it was to have a personal savings, because Gideon's surgery wiped that out. And then how important it was to also have a business savings, because that had my back and helped me through the move and those unexpected expenses, which then amazingly, y'all, freaking miracle, like a week ago, the IRS sent me a letter letting me know that they'd reviewed my taxes and decided that I was owed a refund of just under $4,000. So it was like, okay, I don't know what math that is, but I'm good with it. I'll take it. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think it really was just the universe saying, hey, super proud of you for being prepared and everything and going through this move. So here, we're going to cover all of the expenses again that like you felt like you were paying out of pocket. And now that, you are fully reimbursed, and then a little extra just as you're good. Well done. Clap, clap. So that was amazing. And just further evidence for me to let go and trust. And it really does feel better to do that, doesn't it? When we let go and we trust, it's like that lovely trust fall exercise, which is both terrifying and thrilling and so delightfully reassuring on the other side when you are caught. So anyway, okay. Gideon's tail, $2,000 of moving expenses. I moved across the fucking country from one coast to the other. I formed a new foundational relationship with my parents on the way. Wow. Oh my God. That was so unexpected and so good. I mean, we also had some really good conversations here when they were here for the first week of May. They stayed all the way until like that Friday after we arrived. So Sunday to Friday. And we hung out several times throughout the week and had some really neat conversations. And I'm so thankful, because I know many in our community do not have that. And I didn't used to have that. And now I do. I mean, they've always wanted to be close with me. And I think I've always wanted to be close with them as well. But our relationship has evolved several times throughout the years. I guess it's been 8 years since I came out. So yeah, a few different evolutions, but where I would say we are at the place now that I love it. I love it. I was even able to talk to them about my breakup, but spoiler alert, that's coming. Okay, so new deep relationship with my parents. a new living situation in this place. This is like a communal living place. So if you don't know what that is, it's imagine living in a hostel kind of, but you have your own room. And if you don't understand that, then think like dorm life, I guess. I don't know. There's like 3 different houses. All of us have our own room. Usually we share a bathroom with 1 or 2 other rooms. And then there's like 1 kitchen in the main house that's like big, although I have like a little kitchenette in my place, so I pretty much just cook in here because I don't like cooking with other people. But this has been new and different and getting used to a totally new lifestyle. It's actually pretty damn cool. And I was totally not expecting this ahead of time when, months and months ago. And then I didn't even know what to expect once I had signed the lease here. So let's see. I started a new CrossFit gym. Oh my gosh. It's always interesting to go into a new community and, get to know people there. And this has been a really fun thing that I've been doing. I decided that every single class, I would just work on remembering 1 new person's name. That way I didn't get overwhelmed trying to remember everyone's name, because that's what I typically do. And then I remember no one's name. And so far it has worked very well. And I've made friends and super, super highly recommend that tip. Okay. Let's see. I've made new friends in general, friends here where I'm living, friends out and about. I went to a coffee shop the other day and she was like, hey, you need to know my friend. Let me get your info and put you 2 in touch. I still have yet to hear from this friend, but that's okay. Like, I'm making new friends and I'm so proud of myself for that. I opened the confidence coven. What? Hello, casual. Here it is. Boom. Okay. I hired a new assistant. Yeah, that all happened within the last month too. My current assistant let me know that he wanted to move on to new opportunities and wanted to give this to someone else, which was totally fine. This is what I knew was going to happen eventually. And I love and adore him. And actually the new person that I hired fits the role even better. And so I'm so, so, so thrilled to be working with my new assistant. In fact, hey, I think I need to have him on the podcast one of these days and just talk, because the method of him hiring and everything was just a story worth telling. But yeah, that hired a new assistant. I broke up with my partner, or boyfriend, or whatever you want to call him, the guy that I have been dating for a few months. More about that in another episode. I don't want to just go into it here because it's totally worth a whole episode on its own, where I'm just going to share what I learned through the relationship. And I'm so proud of how I showed up, and also found learning opportunities and growth opportunities for myself too along the way. And so I will share all that in a wonderful, vulnerable, exciting episode later. Okay. Let's see. Oh, 2 days after I broke up with him, I got a message saying, hey, you should go get tested. I have gonorrhea. And so I had to go get tested, got the shot just preventatively. And it turns out I ended up not getting it. So I don't know if, that's because we weren't sexually active during that last like week and a half, or more than a week and a half of us before I broke up with him, or what, but whatever. Anyway, pretty great. Didn't have it. Wonderful. So an STI scare to just like really add some fun to May. I hosted a workshop with Six Figs, one of the coaches who I contract with, and that was up in Santa Monica. That was so fun to go to LA and be in a 5-star hotel for the first time, and just incredible experience. So fun. I went to my first nude beach on Memorial Day, and then in the evening had a fever that like wiped me out. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if it was what, but like I kind of just treated it like it might have been COVID and didn't really hang out with people for the next several days. But yeah, that was That was a wild way to cap off the weekend. Not the weekend, cap off the month with possibly COVID. It was like, hello, last day. Why not? Yeah, let's just have a casual fever. And then finally, the last like wild little learning experience from the month was when I was setting up to do a workshop for a corporation, and my workbook in it teaches my BDSM method. And as you all know, it isn't about teaching sex or anything, but they were not comfortable with the term BDSM being in the workbook. And so I'm really proud of how I handled that. I ultimately, we did have a conversation around it, and I'm so proud because in the past, I think I would have just said, oh, no, let me accommodate you, or I would have just given up and moved on. And instead, I had the conversation with them like a very like CEO bad bitch, and was like, I'm not changing my workbook. This is my intellectual property. It is what it is. That's what I call this. And it's important to me to have this term because not only is it just a great term for it because it is what it is. It's playing with sensation and power dynamics, but also it's important to me because as a survivor of sexual assault, using BDSM has actually been very empowering, and it is also for many others. And not only that, but it's all of this also helps to destigmatize sex and everything, and sexual play, and that is very important to me too. So talked with them about that, and we ended up coming up with a solution in which we just left my workbook totally out of it, and they were able to I was able to lead their employees through the experience of my 3-step confident queer process and use the tools to help them take a look at their emotions and make peace with it, but without mentioning my tools or anything. So we basically in this scenario, I was just fully just contracted for them, doing it under their branding, their energy, right? And I could keep my brand in integrity and separate. And so that was a solution that I was really comfortable with and happy with. And I think in the future, there will come a day when I will just say entirely no, thank you. I don't want this opportunity because I want to bring this full experience. And I'll do that when I'm at that place financially in this business. So what a freaking month. All of that, all of that in 31 days, right? May has 31 days, right? So nuts, craziness, wild. I wanted to share all that with you just to, one, celebrate myself because I've not ever been good at that, and I'm actually pretty damn good at it now, and I'm celebrating that. Like, holy shit, I did all of that. Like, who the hell handles all of those things at once? What am I, a masochist? I guess so. But also to just show you, I hope it gives you hope for what you are capable of too. I really don't see myself as some kind of special person. I am special, but I don't have some kind of inherent ability that you don't have. There's nothing that I did this month that you couldn't possibly go through too. And so I know that's not just, I don't know where I'm going with this sentence. Period. There you go. Just wanted to encourage you that you can go through a whole lot more shit than you give yourself credit for. I would never have signed up for all of that ahead of time had I known that all of those things were going to happen in 1 month. I don't think I would have been like, oh my God, I love it. What a great month. Let's go. I probably would have been scared. And I think it's great that we cannot see the future for that very reason, because otherwise we'd all hold ourselves back, wouldn't we? probably. And the whole point of this, remember, I made this move, and what I'm challenging you to as well is to see where you don't have to move across the country, okay? And you don't have to do any of these things. You don't have to go break up with, whoever you're dating or your spouse or something. Like, they don't have to be big, as big as these things. And I'm doing little quotes on the big, whatever. Big is relevant. But I do want to challenge you that you can sign up for an uncomfortable situation on purpose. If you know your life needs some shaking up, then what the fuck are you doing holding on to everything that feels comfortable right now? If you know that you want to be a more confident human who lives more authentically, more powerfully, what the heck are you doing holding on to every safety net? Now, I do think it's important to have your anchor points in your life. I've talked about that before, how I have certain friends that are kind of my anchors. I do recommend, have backup plans, have safety nets, have connections. I think it's ridiculous to think that anyone, or even most people, maybe there are humans that just have no plan B, but I have a plan B. I moved here with the intention of getting through a year. And then if I don't like it, I'll move somewhere else. I knew that ahead of time. So what is it that you have been holding yourself back from? Go fucking do it. Give yourself the shakeup that you need. And if you're not ready to make that one move, for example, I honestly, months ago, knew that this relationship probably was not going to work out forever. I knew it had an expiration date. I didn't want to let go of it though. But I did do other things, like move across the country, that I knew would shake up my life and therefore give me the ability to grow, the opportunity to grow. One of my favorite conversations that I've had since I moved here, I have some friends that it's the most crazy story, y'all. When I did my last drag show on Halloween last year in New York, I met this couple, Dan and Jorge, after the show. They loved it. It was great. They came to the show at the last minute, and they really enjoyed my performance. We followed each other on Instagram, and then they ended up moving to San Diego a week after I did. It was so funny because we've been talking a little bit back and forth over the last couple months about our move and oh my gosh, we're going to be moving at the same time. And oh my gosh, we aren't going to live that far from each other. When we found our places, it was wild. So we had dinner a couple weeks ago and they asked me this question, which just lit me up. I was like, oh, I have found the friends I was looking for. They said, how do you plan to grow with this move? How do you plan to grow with this move? And I think you can ask yourself that question with any decision that you're making, with any life change that you're making. How do you plan to grow with this change? How do you plan to grow with this decision? They were right. Every move, in particular with a move, you really do grow and reinvent yourself. You have to. You have no choice but to grow. You're in an entirely new environment. And for you, maybe the new environment isn't a move. Maybe it is. But for those of you that it's not, maybe it's a career change. Maybe it's starting a business, the one that you've known you wanted to start forever. If it is, join the Iconic Queer Mastermind. You'd be crazy not to. My clients are loving it and really finding their unique voice and creating the structure for their business to grow and thrive and, not just be here for a few years, but for years and years and years to come, to leave a legacy. So, casual plug, if that's what you want, that's what you're into. Icon. So maybe it's your career, right? Maybe it's a relationship, and that could be a friendship, that could be family, maybe it could be a romantic relationship. Maybe it's actually a move. Maybe it's just to a new house, new living situation, new location. Maybe you live in a van and you're going to just drive to the next state. I don't know. Whatever it is, I know that you know what little shakeup your life needs. I invite you to step into it, to commit to that, like now, and step into it. Begin making moves within the next week, between now and the next podcast episode. If you're listening to this episode, I am your coach, and that's what I challenge you to. So there you go. You don't have to accept it. Not like you're the boss of your life. I'm just inviting you to. You're welcome. And here's how it's going to affect your confidence. When you keep holding back from making big, scary, bold moves and shaking your life up, you are teaching yourself through demonstration that you're not capable. And so you keep reinforcing your story of smallness, of insecurity, of not enoughness, of not being capable, of that you are too small, not the chosen one, whatever the bullshit story is. You enforce it by not going for the shakeup. And when you do accept the challenge, when you do step into the big, scary, oh my God, what am I doing? Opportunity, you'll prove to yourself that you're not going to die. And therefore, you will have an opportunity to trust yourself more. You've been swimming in the kiddie pool long enough. You know you're fine in a kiddie pool. At least get into the 4-foot section. At least do that. And start trying to float on your back. Play around, splash around in the water a little bit. And some of you've gotten real comfortable, even in like the 6-foot section of the pool. You're swimming around, you're a pro. And this is your invitation to get to the full deep end, jump off the high dive, try a flip, fuck it up, belly flop, hurt yourself, and come back up, treading water in the 12-foot end, just for the fucking proof that you can, that you're capable. So my big question for you is, how willing are you to blow up your life to have the life that you want? How much discomfort are you willing and able? Willing is a choice. Ability is skill set and preparation and training. So how much discomfort are you willing and able to undergo to have the life that you want? That's my question for you this week. And I invite you, if you are looking at the other side of that and saying, look, the life that I want is I want to make a huge difference. I want to make a big impact. And the way that I'm going to do that is through a business or a personal brand. Then get your ass in the Iconic Queer Mastermind. And if it's some other way, why are you not in the Confidence Coven? Come on in, my friend. The water is warm, and I can't wait to work with you even more directly to give you that support and safety and community in either of those programs, where you will have a much easier time, a much more encouraging time, blowing your life up. These programs that I run, my coaching and all of it, what coaching is in general, is really just that anchor point, that floaty, to help you make the transition from one pool to the other, from the shallow end to the deep end. I'm ready for you. And you're ready for it too. Blow up your life. I'll see you soon. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend so they too can become more confident. You can also help more people find the show by leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen. And if you want to become a more confident queer with support from yours truly, head to coachalexray.com or use the link down in the show notes. I'm looking forward to working with you.